Well, just like the rest of us, dogs have personal hygiene needs, like nail trims and grooming, and then those little boogers that show up in their eyes and their nose. Well, there are some dogs who are prone to struggle, or worse, when people are trying to do just normal stuff with them. And, is it really worth the rodeo? Well, the answer is no. We can take good care of our dogs with kindness. Well, this is my friend Ringo. Ringo's about 13 years old, and I'm going to tell the story of Ringo pretty soon. But in case we haven't met, I'm veterinarian Dr. Jeff Nickel. And usually we have our cats in these videos, but this time we have Ringo because he's a very good boy, and he's quite handsome too. So if you have pets who really have a hard time with just normal care, nail trims seem like the big thing, and there's a good reason for that. But if you tell me about it, put it in the comment line, and we're going to notice those things, and I'll answer those questions probably near the end of this little Facebook Live. Try not to go on too long. And we have Ringo's person here, Lauren, and she's here with the peanut butter on the paper plate, and we're going to show how that works. But I want to tell you the story of Ringo because he's a very special little dog. He's the kind of guy who gets along with everybody. And Lauren and Frank just couldn't help but to take him home. They were volunteering for PACA, the People's Anti-Cruelty Association, and they take in pets who need homes, and oftentimes, they're pets who have problems, medical issues, behavior issues, whatever. And there are volunteers who, go to the pet supply stores, right, like PetSmart and stuff, and people come by and show them these pets, and they need foster homes. Well, Ringo had a buddy, and he and his friend Silver, another little guy about his size, actually a little bit smaller, and he was a real cute dog too. And they were a pair because they had belonged to an elderly man who passed on. Is that right? Well, so PACA got hold of him, and by the way, people are showing up telling me that they're here, and Carolyn is firing up the iPad here, so no, thank you very much. There we go. The iPad, for some cyber reason, is always a little bit behind. Anyway, so please tell me you're here and tell me where you're from in case I don't know you. By the way, I want to make a special thank you to Richard. Richard noticed that when I put the promotion for this Facebook Live on my Facebook page yesterday, and he got the notification, he noticed that I said it was going to happen at 7 a.m. today, and Richard noticed like within 5 minutes of when I put it on there and called me to tell me about it. So thank you again, Richard, for letting me know, because anyway, I'll pay closer attention to that after this, and so I went ahead and changed it so people could actually show up. Misty is here. Wonderful. And Cindy, excellent. Martha, too. Thank you for coming. And, even if you don't have a dog who struggles with, nail trims and regular grooming and ear cleaning and stuff like that, this is the kind of information that's going to be helpful to you in lots of other ways. Thanks, you guys, for coming. Anyway, so this is Ringo, and you probably saw his picture in the promotion that I put out yesterday. So he was adopted with Silver, this other little guy. He was this lean little rascal, looked like a little cartoon character. Remember Ren and Stimpy? He was like one of those guys. And he would follow Ringo all the time. He was fine as long as he could follow this little fellow. And so Frank and Lauren would take care of these pets and then agreed to foster them until a good forever home was found. And of course, the rest of the story, they were the forever home. And so they took on Silver and Ringo, and they did very well. And then Ringo developed heart failure and passed on. I'm sorry, Silver. And Ringo, he's done fine, despite Silver passing. And he lives with them. And then they adopted another dog, this beautiful red heeler named Missy. It's a very sweet dog, and so they're sort of petted out now. They've got what is the name of your... It's Chappie. What kind of bird is Chappie?
Green-cheek conure.
A green-cheek conure. I know that she's a conure. My experience with conures are they're usually much bigger than Chappie, aren't they? I've known some other conures who, they're citizens. They're related to parakeets and parrots and cockatiels and that stuff. This is a wonderful bird. So anyway, that's the roster of their pets. And so here we have Ringo, who has agreed, he was volunteered to demonstrate how we're going to do these things without scaring the daylights out of him. Because the mistake people make is that they are going to trim those nails or clean those ears, and they're going to follow the instructions that the doctor gave them, and that dog is going to cooperate because they know that it's medically the right thing for the pet. Well, the problem with that really directed approach to these things is that without meaning to, you can start to restrain the dog, and you're going to hold still and we're going to do this. Well, they struggle because they're afraid. And when we restrain them and we cut off their options for escape or avoidance from the person they love and trust, well, we're just going down the wrong path with this relationship. And furthermore, the stress can be a medical risk. So we don't want to do that, and we don't need to do that. So we're going to show you how to do it. Cindy howls even before I actually touch his nails to cut them. Oh, I know this happens at veterinary clinics too. And one of the mistakes is, and I'm going to show you how to avoid this, is trimming the nails a little too short. And they bleed a little bit, and you think, well, there's not much blood loss. Well, think about it. If somebody cut your nails so darn short that they bled, it hurts like a son of a gun. So we're not going to do that, and we're not going to use dull trimmers that crush the nail or twist the nail. We're going to use new sharp trimmers, and if they don't work like a really good quality knife does, we'll throw them away and get another pair. You can get replacement blades for a lot of these, by the way. Sharp clippers really matter. So the trick is that we're not going to use any restraint. Now, you notice that Ringo's wearing this harness, which is quite attractive, but it's also pretty handy. You know, I kind of sort of have my thumb hooked on it. Now, Carolyn, if you wouldn't mind opening this up to zoom in on this a little bit, and Lauren, if you'd bring this little paper plate over, we have, oh, that's perfect. Ah, that's exactly what we need. Now, if you bring that plate over, can you see that? There you go. And Ringo, are you going to enjoy some of that peanut butter? Well, let's bring it a little closer. Ringo, by the way, is sight impaired. Now, he's actually quite blind. Let me see what happens. Do you know this is here, son? Oh, he says, I'll take that. Now, what we're going to do is let him have a few licks, and then Lauren's going to take it away, and we're going to teach him that when he sees that paper plate coming, there's peanut butter on that. If you don't mind bringing it back again, Lauren. There you go. And by letting him lick it a few times and then taking it away again, this is the kind of teaching that the dog needs before you ever even carry out the function, such as, that's good. Yeah, that's great right there. Oh, I see. You're looking at your iPhone.
I want
Okay.
people to see your iPhone.
Okay. Well, I want to see it close enough that they can see what we're doing.
Right. When you're doing it, I'll zoom in.
Oh, all right. Okay, good. Carolyn's my producer here.
I do not see
Okay.
it.
All right. So if you'd bring it back over one more time. And so, we're getting him used to the concept here. Now go ahead and take it away again. These are just one repetition after another. And again, the time to teach a dog that something great will happen when he or she cooperates with nail trimming or ear cleaning, whatever it is, grooming. You do this starting out without doing the nail trimming or ear cleaning or grooming. So you bring the plate over again, and you let him have another lick. Ringo, here, look, baby. Look, son. He says, I'm camera shy. Oh, okay, I'll take it. And again, part of the problem is that he's blind. He's an elderly fellow. So we get one repetition after the next. And when you teach these things, the best way of doing it is only 2 teaching sessions per day, and only 3 to 4 minutes long each. We have very robust research to show that they learn faster and retain the memory better if you do it like that. So anyway, let's try one more time, and then we'll show. He says, oh, all right, that's pretty good. Now take that away again. He goes, well, he says, I like this game. I'm looking forward to this. All right, let's talk about nail trimming for a second. There are lots of different kinds of nail trimmers. This, if you don't mind zooming in on this one, Carolyn. There we go. This one has a sliding blade. You see that? And again, they need to be new and sharp. There are some others that are sort of scissor-like instruments. Whatever works for you, as long as it's new and sharp. So what Ringo's going to do is he's going to earn the privilege of having access to that plate of peanut butter, and what's going to earn it is allowing me to handle his foot. So Lauren, if you don't mind, go ahead and give that to him again. Go ahead, Ringo. There you go. And I'm just going to pick up his paw, and I'm going to handle it. And all I'm doing is holding it. Go ahead and give him another little lick there, if you don't mind. There. Now take it away. And what he's doing now is he's getting used to somebody holding his paw. This is a two-person operation. You really need an assistant. And so Lauren is just sitting next to me with a stool, and she's going to go ahead and give it to him again. There you go. He says, all right, I'll take that. Now, let me show you his paw. I hope people can see this. Carolyn, can people see this? And normally the best thing to do is to bring the nail trimmer near the paw and then take it away. And he gets to have access to the peanut butter on the plate when I am handling his paw or when I'm bringing the nail trimmer toward his nail. And if he fidgets or fusses, we do not restrain. We might have a thumb on his harness just to keep him stable. But what I'm not going to do is restrain. I'm simply going to ask my assistant Lauren to take away the privilege of the peanut butter when he's not earning it. Because if he's struggling and fidgeting, okay, you don't earn it then. You haven't earned the prize. But when he calms down a little bit, Lauren, go ahead and bring the plate back over, and he gets to, it's okay, son, lick the peanut butter while I pick up his paw and handle it again. And I'm not holding it and restraining it. Thank you for the hearts, by the way. It always helps me to know I'm doing something helpful. And then I might touch the nail trimmer to the paw. And then I'm going to take it away. Notice he fidgets a little bit. Fidgeted. Thank you. Then Lauren, of course, knows right away. We'll take the plate away. Okay? So let me show you just a little bit about the nail trimming. And yeah, there you go, Carolyn. If you go ahead and show him the peanut. Oh, it's all right, son. It's okay. Just give the guy a break. It's perfectly okay. Take your time. You're a good boy. Look how brave you are. So let's go ahead and give it a break for a minute. And let me explain something else you can use if you want to. You can use a muzzle. But the only kind you should use is a basket muzzle. You know, at pet supply stores and on the internet. Thank you for those hearts. Thank you very much. It's like applause, you know, if I'm giving a political speech and I say something people like to hear. This is obviously much bigger than would fit a little guy like Ringo. But this is a Baskerville muzzle, like Hound of the Baskervilles. And it has this little opening at the front. You can see that, where it's designed so you can put treats in there. You can buy sleeve-type muzzles that are fabric, and they're sort of cone-shaped that you put on in the dog's face, but they completely close the dog's mouth. And those really shouldn't be used at home, probably just for a couple minutes in the veterinary clinic, and that's all. But your dog can learn to put their face in a basket muzzle. And in fact, you have a longer piece of a carrot that he could have. This little guy happens to love carrots. So and he may or may not play this game, but if you would put it through that hole right there, Lauren, kind of the longer, there you go. Now, if he'll put his face in there for a carrot, look, Ringo, here, honey.
I can't see.
Yeah, he doesn't see the darn thing. Look, honey. He's a little bit, there you go, that's smart. Just give him actually just there. All right. There you go. He's there, ooh, he says, okay. And what he's done is he's voluntarily put his face in the muzzle, and he gets the immediate reinforcer of a piece of food something that this little guy really likes is carrots, whatever your dog really loves to have. But you don't put a muzzle on a dog. You lure the dog to choose to put his or her face into it. And gradually the dog learns that when I see that muzzle, good things will happen immediately. All I have to do is put my face in there. And then very gradually, you'll hang the straps over behind his neck. And then finally you can have a dog who's happy to wear the muzzle because only good things happen. And then while he's wearing it, he can get an occasional treat through that little hole in the front. So the Baskerville muzzle, the way to go. Now, we don't need it for Ringo. But the reason I'm only bringing it up is that if you have a dog who may be prone to get defensive and fearful and try to bite, you don't have to worry because the dog's wearing a basket muzzle. But that doesn't mean that we have any alteration in our plan for completely gentle, slow approach to these things. I just want you to be relaxed just in case you may have something that can be concerned about. So, let me show you something else I want to talk about. And by the way, these videos, I hope they're helpful. I know they are to some people. And you're fine. You're okay. We're going to talk about ears next. You can get these in your email box every Tuesday morning. Just go to my website, drjeffnickel.com, drjeff, Nichol.com, And the reason I use that for the name of my website is because it's my name. And so that way I can remember it. And at the bottom of the homepage, you can put your email address in. And every Tuesday morning, you'll get Facebook Live and my weekly media blog, which also serves as my newspaper column in the Albuquerque Journal. Well, when you sign up, I will also email you at no charge my at-home pet first aid and CPR guide, which is worth printing out and keeping handy. So if I were to clean this little guy's ears, and he does get ear treatment, it's okay. Here, go ahead and show this little guy some more peanut butter if you don't mind, Lauren. Look, little boy. It's okay, Ringo. Oh, he says, all right. So I'm going to put a little bit of ear cleaning solution on a 3x3 gauze pad. And these are, I like them better than cotton because they're a little bit scratchy, you know. And so while she's doing this, I'm just going to very gently touch Ringo's ear, and I'm going to bring this in here, and I'm going to clean a little bit of this, and look how good he's being. And so he continues to get access to the plate as long as he's being relaxed about this stuff. But if he gets fidgety, okay, we're not going to push it, but we're going to take away the peanut butter at the same time we take away whatever it is we're doing. You know, the ear cleaning sponge, whatever. He was very good about that. But you have to communicate. The person who's doing whatever the procedure is, the nail trimming, the ear cleaning, maybe the grooming. You know, I was going to bring a brush out here, Carolyn. Frank, would you mind getting a brush out of the kitchen?
Okay.
Do you know where those are? In the drawer on the left? In the kitchen and the... Yeah, you'll find it. Frank's all... yeah, okay, anyway. We can do this with a little bit of grooming. But now, if you're going to do any kind of, cleaning little boogers off of a dog's eye, again, I like a 3x3 sponge. I've always used these in the veterinary clinic, and I suggest people doing it at home. You don't need saline. You don't have to have boric acid. You can. But this is nothing but tap water. Okay? And so what I'm going to do is very gently, there he goes. He gets access first to the peanut butter. And then I'm going to very gently bring this close to his face. And I'm just going to touch it to his face, not necessarily to his eye. Just touch him gently. And he earns the privilege of access to the peanut butter by tolerating this. Something that he might not put up with without a paycheck. And I'll tell you, the immediacy, thank you, Carolyn, the immediacy of the reinforcer is essential to the whole thing. So go ahead and she's taking it away while I wasn't doing it, which is exactly right. And if you just bring that right up to his beak so he knows it's there. There you go. Look, baby. Look, honey. Oh, there you go. So I'm going to bring this close to his face. So as you teach your dog to put up with it, you notice I'm not really touching the corner of his eye or his eyelids at all. I'm simply getting him used to the idea that that thing doesn't feel bad. And he gets to earn the peanut butter. So how fast can you get this done? Not very fast. You know, the thing about what is called fear-free pet handling, and there are fear-free certified veterinarians and veterinary staff, by the way, and you can go to a website called fearfreepets.com. They have a locator function in there, and you can put your zip code, and you can find fear-free veterinarians who are close to you. Well, their work with a pet who's nervous, and about 78% of pets that are seen in a general veterinary hospital are, it takes longer. And if you're going to be successful at fear-free treatment of your dog at home, or your cat for that matter, it takes a while. And what you have to do is go through these motions perhaps multiple times, only twice daily teaching sessions, only 3 to 4 minutes each time, for a while before you actually can nip the point off a nail or actually touch the moistened 3x3 to the dog's eye and clean the booger off, or, in the case of dogs, let's go ahead and who need to be brushed, they can earn this. And you can say, well, now that's something my dog has never objected to. Well, why not sweeten the pot? As long as the brush is touching the dog's coat, he earns these things. And when I take away the brush, we take away the food. Dogs are all about earned privileges. That's the way they're genetically programmed to function in the hierarchy of a free-living canine social group. Their leader, that dog's job is to keep everybody alive and passing on their genetic code. And those things are far from assured in the wild, because sometimes there are some dogs who don't make it. I mean, nature isn't always kind. Never mind that at your house you have a pretty decent income stream. You aren't going to run out of dog food. You're not going to get evicted. Well, that logic is lost on your dog. They're wired for scarcity. So if your dog says, look, I've got to earn everything because that's the way my little canine brain works, and it does, okay? Don't try to teach your dog to speak human or, human followership. You are going to be successful if you learn canine leadership, which means that if it's something your dog wants, it's natural for your dog to earn it like food. That's not a given. So if we go ahead and have access to the peanut butter, and as soon as he starts enjoying that, then I'm going to do this thing, whatever it happens to be. Or maybe I'll use, do the ear cleaning, and I'll start by handling his ears while he's licking and of course he's licking it off his hard palate right now, which is okay too. Are you ready? Do you want some more? Oh, he says, I'll take some more. So then I'll very gently and very slowly start to touch his ear, and I'll clean those things. And then as soon as I take it away, the food goes away too. And you think, I don't want to do that. I don't want to take stuff away from my dog. You've probably heard me say this before. It's really great to love our pets as though they were little children in furry suits, because I'm that way. I'm that way with our cats. And if you've been with me for a little while, you certainly know I was that way with my little girl, Miss America. But that's how we love them. But if we want to treat them fairly, if we want to bring out their best, we treat them like dogs, because that's who they are, and that's how they think, and they earn everything. Okay? So, I have some questions that have come in, right? Let's see, what do we got here? So, Isabella, I am presumably not the only one who's been looking forward to watching you at work in practice. Yes, your videos are useful, even the most experienced among us. So thank you. Gee, Isabella, thank you very much. These words of support are so valuable. And Jolynn, you were here. Jolynn's attended before. And Jolynn, just like an hour and a half ago, was helping me with our cat, Tony. And our two cats aren't here right now. They're here, but they're not right here. And Tony is pushing 15. He'll be 15 in November. And like all cats in his age group, his kidneys are wearing out. They literally all do when they get to be that age. And we can get a lot of excellent life out of those marginal kidneys if we manage them very carefully. Well, I've treated so many elderly cats with kidney failure in my career in general medicine. But I'm a behavior specialist now, and I don't do general practice and haven't for 6 years plus. Well, we have an outstanding veterinary internal medicine specialist at Veterinary Emergency and Specialty Center who's got an excellent staff of nurses, including Jolynn, who just like an hour and a half ago was helping me with Tony. Because I popped over there because Dr. Hale, our internist, had time in her schedule, had her examine Tony, look at his lab work, and advise me. We're making another diet shift, check his lab work again in a couple of months, add in other treatments, and squeeze a few more excellent years out of this almost 15-year-old cat. So, Jolynn, thank you so much for your help on Tony and other pets I've sent to the internal medicine department, and thanks for being here today. We have so many. Portia's watching. Excellent. I'm so glad you're here. And who else has come? And Sharon. Oh, wonderful. Geez, Sharon, where the heck are you from? OJ is here. Wonderful. Geez, what a great bunch I've got. This is so good. Well, so next week, we're going to do our Facebook Live on cats. And even if you're not really a cat person, I hope you'll come because it's going to be a lot of fun. We have 2 little kittens. They have not lost their mittens. Of course, that was 3 kittens that did that. These were adopted by my other son and his significant other. And there's a great story behind them. And, of course, they're cute as they can be. And we're going to talk about cats who play too rough and can injure each other and their people. And what are we going to do about that? And the natural tendency is, to try to manage these guys like they were people. And of course, we're not going to do that. And Margarita is here. Wonderful, from Albuquerque, New Mexico. Never heard of it. We love Albuquerque, even though it's getting a little hotter here. We aren't going anywhere, actually. And somebody from Albany, Georgia, yeah, Misty from Albany, Georgia. I'm so glad you came. So that's what we're going to do next week. And as usual, next Thursday, we're going to be doing the Facebook Live at 6. And by the way, starting in September, at least some of these we're going to be doing at the Animal Humane New Mexico facility here in Albuquerque. And we're going to be working with some of their trainers who help so many of the pets who are in the shelter looking for homes who have behavior issues, but also after they get adopted so they can stay in their new homes and make those forever homes. And then, of course, they do obedience training there, and they have classes so these dogs can play and learn to interact in healthy ways together, and they do agility. It's a wonderful place. So we're going to do at least some, if not many, of our Facebook Lives there. We'll start that in a couple of months, but I'm looking forward to that because I'll be working during Facebook Lives with some of their trainers, and so we're going to share some information on that. But anyway, next week we're going to be doing it right here on my porch. We're going to do it on cats, and we're going to have these two little orange striped kitties, Theo and Jenny, and believe me, they're delightful. They really don't have behavior issues, but they do have another cat in their home who's, he's been working to adjust to these little jokers, and so we're going to bring that into the discussion too. So thanks, everybody. And if there are any other questions, we can address those. You're being such a good boy. I really like this little dog. I've got a thing for small dogs. I haven't had one in a long time. And Ann's here. Wonderful. Yeah, you love his ears. I know. He is adorable. He's a delightful little guy. And so, Cindy, I hope I addressed that for you. If you have a dog who howls even before you actually touch his feet or even go near him, we have cases like that who that come into the veterinary clinic. It might be a nail trim or some, a wound treatment or something else. And the trick with those things is to move very slowly. Always have an assistant, paper plate with peanut butter is a great thing. And you always, would you like more peanut butter? Would you? Well, your mama will bring the peanut butter to your face, little boy. This little guy's a little bit nervous sitting in my lap. I've known him for a few years, and I pet him when I see him, and I talk to him. He's really kind of a two-person dog, and Lauren and Frank, he belongs to them, and so if he's going to relax a little bit in my lap, he can have access to peanut butter as a reinforcer for just sitting here. That earns a little peanut butter too. So, your dog is really, really nervous about this thing when you bring the nail trimmers near. So what you can do, Cindy, is have the nail trimmers, like in your lap near your dog. I don't know how big your dog is, or maybe it's on the floor if it's a bigger dog. And your dog can earn peanut butter. Peanut butter is a great thing because it's kind of sticky, and you can take it away and bring it back. You can pop one treat into their mouth after the next, but this makes it easier to have multiple repetitions. Bring the peanut butter, take it away for another opportunity. Well, you do that with those nail trimmers there, 2 sessions a day, 3 to 4 minutes each. That's the end of it. Until finally, the presence of the nail trimmers really don't seem to cause the dog any annoyance. After that, you raise the bar, the challenge a little bit. Bring those nail trimmers a little closer. They're just sitting on the floor or on your lap near your dog until your dog goes, oh, boy, those again. Now he earns the privilege of tolerating them nearby, and he gets the peanut butter. Ultimately, that doesn't bother him. And then maybe you're holding the nail trimmers in your hand. Those nail trimmers went somewhere. Yeah. Oh, there they are. Thank you, Carol. And, you're just holding them, and the dog goes, oh, man, that's making me nervous. Well, but he gets peanut butter if he tolerates that. Multiple repetitions at that same level of challenge. You do not make it more difficult each time. You stay at the same level until finally the dog goes, okay, that doesn't really bother me anymore. And when it does bother him a little bit as you raise the challenge by having that aversive, something he doesn't want, a little closer, he shouldn't be only just a tiny bit nervous about it. And this can take a long time. Well, that's the only good way to do this. So finally, then maybe you can just hold that paw. Oh, there you thank you, Lauren. You know what? My mistake. Please give him the peanut butter and let him start licking it, and then I'll pick up the paw. There you go. Okay? And so I'm just holding this paw. I'm not really even holding it. I just have my hand on it. But he's getting access to the peanut butter. Okay? Look how good he's being. And then maybe I'll touch the nail trimmer to his paw. Now this dog isn't a big problem. Your dog, this may take a long time. And back to nail trimming for just a second. People feel like, well, I don't have to do it very often if I nip them just a little closer. Please don't do that. Just a tiny little tip off it. That's all. And when your dog is actually getting better about accepting this thing, only one nail. Do not try to build Rome in a day here. We don't eat the elephant all at once. One bite at a time. Okay? So finally, after weeks and weeks and weeks, you may actually be able to trim your dog's nails, but always with your assistant with the peanut butter. And by the way, peanut butter jar, read the ingredients. Look for a sugar substitute called xylitol, spelled with an X, X-Y-L-A-T-O-L, I believe. I think it's an A. X, xylitol. Do not give peanut butter or anything to your dog that has xylitol. Dogs do not tolerate it well. It can be very damaging to their kidneys. It has been known to cause seizures. To humans, on the other hand, it's quite healthy. And we're seeing it in a growing list of prepared foods, including toothpaste, breath mints, that kind of stuff. So that's all I have to report. Our neighbor dogs are starting to make noise. Little children are on their little plastic-wheeled tricycles out on the road, which is fine. Anybody? Oh, you know what? I think there was one more question, wasn't there? Oh, yeah. I'll be the next week too. I definitely need to watch next week, especially with my two hooligans. Now, I'm not going to tell your cats that you call them that, Ann, because they might be offended. You know how sensitive cats can be. Who else is there with a question? I guess that's it. Well, thank you everybody for being here and for participating and sharing some of cats and dogs to me. And just remember that cats and dogs, just like people, they can become obstinate if their leader only wants their needs met, because they can learn anytime during a relationship that they can trust us not to intimidate them. So thank you again, and I'll see you next week.